Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us on the Whipping It In podcast for episode 2, the podcast you didn't ask for. So, today we'll be discussing the top 10 Premier League strikers since 2010. So, in the decade that we've had. And with me today, I've got two guests, Rahat, my friends, and Lewis. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, this is Lewis. Welcome back again from podcast one. Can't get enough of it, so let's do podcast two.
Hey guys, it's Rahat here. Hope you guys enjoyed podcast one. Hope you guys are still washing your hands, and yeah, let's get ready for this podcast.
Brilliant stuff. So, the audience may not be aware, but so in the top 10 list from positions 1 to 5, so five strikers we've agreed on, but we haven't decided the order of them. However, from the bottom five of the strikers, from position 6 to 10, we'll be discussing, debating, and analysing who should be the lower half of five strikers. So I'll start off with mine. And in position 6, I've got Vardy. Position 7, I've got Drogba. Position 8, I've got Costa, Diego Costa, that is. Uh, Position 9, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And number 10, Giroud. Do you guys want to say your lists
Yeah,
for
sure.
the bottom? Yeah.
So at number 6, I've got Jamie Vardy. At number 7, I've got Romelu Lukaku. Number 8, I've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. At number 9, I've got Olivier Giroud, and number 10, I've got Diego Costa.
Yeah, that's a good choice. For me, I've got Didier Drogba at number 6, Jamie Vardy at number 7, um, Mo Salah at number 8, Diego Costa at number 9, and then Drew at number 10.
So I think if we discuss, just repeat to the audience who we've put down. We start from 10 and we'll argue it our way up. So for me, I've put Giroud in the 10th position because, yeah, although a lot of what he's done is behind the scenes, what he has provided as a striker um, is incredible. He's been that sort of link up striker, been the tall figure, excellent at headers. And I mean, you look at his stats and you wouldn't think he'd be scoring as many goals as he has, especially in his Arsenal days, which, on his first season, he scored 11 goals. And within his last season at Arsenal, 2016 to 2017, in the 29 appearances, he scored 12. Um, and altogether, when I was looking at his stats, appearances altogether 229, 80 goals, 28 assists. I know we shouldn't talk about it, but he has won a World Cup, and he's been a voted Player of the Month as well in March 2015. So I'm putting Giroud in that case because he does goals could be a bit stronger. On our list, we've got a lot more stronger goal scorers, but for me, what he does off the ball and what he does to link up the play, make a better team, and the combination that Giroud and Ramsey had was incredible. Partnership was superb, and it's something that they copied from Chelsea with the Didier Drogba and Lampard combination, where the striker holds off the ball and the midfielder scores. So that's why I put Giroud in the 10th position. Lewis, do you want to discuss why you've put Giroud as well in that position?
Yeah, definitely. So it was how reliant Arsenal was on like Giroud and Alexis Sanchez. So of course the back-to-back FA Cups, and then Drew's won 3 FA Cups. So it just shows really the importance of Olivier Giroud to the team and what he's done to contribute to Arsenal's successes and the Premier League in general over the last 10 years. So that's why I've chosen him at number 10. Yeah.
And Rahat, do you want to say who's your number 10 and give some sort of like justifications, reasons? Why is that?
Awesome. So for my number 10, I don't have Olivier Giroud. I have him a little higher up. I have Diego Costa at my number 10 spot. And so just looking at some figures quickly, he's got 89 appearances in the league and 52 goals in the Premier League over the course of 3 seasons. So it's quite a nice goal per game ratio of just under about zero point 0.6 goals a game, so it's quite good. Uh, and you look at the way he played for Chelsea, and Chelsea are very much that team, like I said before, that when they have like a strong powerhouse kind of centre forward, someone who can spearhead the attack, someone who's a focal point that they can revolve around, it's a focal point of the offense. Um, that's when Chelsea tend to do well. So I think Costa's first season, 20 goals in 26 appearances, Premier League title winners as well. So the way he helped Chelsea in those 3 seasons perform and his contribution to the team, that's why I've got him down here. I think I've put Giroud a little bit higher just because he's played in the Premier League a little bit longer than Diego Costa. So that kind of longevity factors in to me placing Giroud higher than Costa.
And I think for me, I would personally put Costa higher only because what Costa he's a similar player to Giroud. That's how I describe it. But what Costa does is he's a faster player, he's a more agile player, he's a stronger player. Giroud's a lot slower than I'm not saying Giroud's the slowest, but Costa's a lot more fast. He can move faster on the ball. He has a better strike rate than Giroud, and Giroud's never gone above. I don't think he's in his Premier League days never gone above 20 goals a season, whereas Costa has. So that's one of the reasons why. Do you guys want to add anything in or um, on why you think maybe Costa should be there or Giroud?
Yeah, I'll add something. Yeah, also with Costa, you've got two Premier League titles to his name. Like Drew, he's never won the Premier League title, and I think that's why I've chosen Costa ahead of Drew in terms of ranking. So definitely a lot of Premier League, had they won a Premier League, and that's caused a massive, significant um, advantage over other players. I felt.
Yeah, I get that. For me, it's just he's only played 3 seasons in this 2010 to 2020 or the end of 2019 gap. So, and you look at Giroud, he came in during the 2012-13 season, and he's still here now. So, for me, because Giroud has that longevity, he has, we're talking 180 appearances for Arsenal, another 50 for Chelsea. So he's got 200 appearances down there compared to just the 89 for Diego Costa. So I get it. And I'm not honestly, I'm okay with Giroud at 10.
Behind Giroud! He's come up with it.
So number nine, we'll start off with you, Lewis. Who have you put in your number 9 position?
Yeah, so I've mentioned before, the main man Diego Costa. He was an animal when he was playing for Chelsea. Like a lot of the Chelsea side at that time, there was a very reliant on Diego Costa, and he won two Premier League titles during his time, 59 goals in that short period of time, 3 seasons, and he was just really good for that short amount of time. And then I felt if he was there for longer, he would have been ranked higher in the list, but he was only here for 3 short seasons, at and those 3 short seasons put him to ninth.
And yourself, Rahat, who have you put in your 9th position?
My ninth position was Giroud, who has now become 10th. But yeah, if we're just expanding on what Lewis said for Costa there, 52 goals in 89 games. He was a bit of a bully to defenders,
Yeah.
wasn't he? He always managed to like rile
Wasn't
them
it
up,
Skirtle that
get
he
in their faces.
got under his nails, or was it Skirtle that won the battle? I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but he's definitely the kind of guy to like kick you and then pretend he did nothing. Um,
None of us know about
I
the dark arts of
he
defending.
he he definitely riled up a lot of Premier League defenders. He's a very ferocious person, pretty scary looking as well, I'd say. So but yeah, he deserves his
I
spot on
mean,
this list. He's a good striker. Just a shame he wasn't in the Premier League for longer. Well, actually, I don't mind because I support Liverpool. So
the thing I was going to say with Costa is, it's a weird one, but he's like one of those players where you hate playing against him, but you love him when he's playing on your team. He's one of those players. But for me, I put in number 9. Aubameyang. Um, Now, the reason why I've put Aubameyang, but for me, the reason why I've put Aubameyang in is because he's he's just goals, goals, goals. He's what 75 appearances, 49 goals. Um, as long as the coronavirus, doesn't take over the world, he'll get to 50 goals in what less than what 76 or 80 games, which is a phenomenal stat. Um, his goals per game is 0.65, and the majority of his goals scored by his right foot. And the fact that he's such a lethal striker, I think when we look back in history, I think we'll probably mention like Aubameyang was so underrated. That the fact that his days in Dortmund were amazing as well. Like he is like just a cold finisher. Like you know, in school how we had that word goal hanger, and I'm not saying that Aubameyang is, but like he's that person. He'll be in the right place at the right time, and he'll just score. You just he'll make one movement, and you don't know where he is. And the fact that his shooting accuracy, I was looking at it, it's 45%, which is wow. Like, can you imagine? Like half the shots you take, you score. Nearly half. That's
Mm.
phenomenal. Like, so that's the reason I would have put Aubameyang higher, but for me as well, when I'm looking at Premier League stats, I want to look at like what you've achieved and things like that. And I know he's won a Golden Boot, joint Golden Boot winner. But for me, I feel like if you haven't won it, the people who have won it, they have a greater say. So for me, I'm just putting Aubameyang in ninth position. Do you guys want to chuck anyone in at that ninth position, and we can have a debate about that?
So for me, just to put my point across, I've got Aubameyang higher at number 8. I think, like I said, it's phenomenal goals to game ratio. So he came in January 2018. In his first half season, 13 appearances, 10 goals. So can you imagine, like, only 3 games you didn't score? Um, it's crazy, isn't it? And then his first full season, he just goes and grabs the golden boot, shares it with Mo Salah and Sadio Mane, but he still scored 22 goals. So he's just automatic, He's just like goals, 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 so consistent. He's carried on his crazy form from Borussia Dortmund over to Arsenal, and yeah, especially the season now. A lot of times Arsenal would be in such a difficult pickle, and Aubameyang would pick them out. Like if you see, I think this is one stat that how many points a goal is worth, and I think Aubameyang is quite high on that. So for me, that's why Aubameyang's higher than Giroud. So for me, I'd put Aubameyang a little bit higher at 8.
But I think for me, I think ultimately at number 9, you have to look at titles. What team achievements has they achieved? Like Costa's got the 2 Premier League titles. So factoring that in, yeah,
So where would you put Aubameyang, Lewis?
they, they, they didn't quite make didn't quite make the cut.
11. What?
11.
You on crack? What?
Yeah, no, but
This guy,
What?
well, since he's been in the Premier League, no one has scored more goals than Aubameyang.
Obama who? Obama what? Obama. Wait. So you wouldn't put Aubameyang, not even ninth?
he's only been here for 3 seasons.
What?
I figured it out,
And
man.
he's teared it up. 49
Right.
goals in 75 appearances.
Like if Guardiola had a choice to, but I'm pretty sure if Aubameyang like says I want to go Man City, like I'm pretty sure Man City would buy this player. And even like as an example, if you guys at Liverpool had the choice of Aubameyang or Salah, who would you choose? No, no, just a
It
general question.
depends. It depends.
Okay,
What, to play in our system or just in a...
no, in your system, would you still? Because Aubameyang still has the ability to. Because
He does, yeah. I thought that's a tough question. We're not here to debate that question. It's too hard.
need a ninth position.
But I'd go with since my 9, Giroud has become 10. I'd
Okay,
go with Costa for 9, so
okay.
I can leave Aubameyang
Um,
for 8.
I don't mind putting. Costa at number 9. Um, but as long as he's in it, that's how I'll negotiate. Lewis, how would you who would you put at number 9? Would you be Costa?
Um, I'll stick with my first choice. It's always Diego Costa. Love the player, man.
Okay, so
And it is Diego Costa opening his account for Chelsea.
I'm sure you're a Liverpool fan.
Nah,
Yeah,
know, you
yeah, that was
sounded
like
very
very enthusiastic about
supportive
Costa.
of
Okay,
Diego Costa.
okay, so he's number 9. Giroud's at number 10. So for me, I'd put Aubameyang at number 9. And I think we've discussed a lot of his points earlier, but for me, I think just to add, tag on what I was going to say, the fact that he's won 2 Player of the Months as well in 2018 October, 2019 September, and like he's when Lacazette hasn't been on form or any of the other Arsenal players, like you look towards him, and I've heard a few Arsenal fans discuss this, and he's got certain traits like Thierry Henry, um, his pace, his skill on the ball, his finishing to an extent, of course. Uh, he's got that ability. What Arsenal fans say is that key player when they had Sanchez as an example. That was that player that they look forward to. Aubameyang in that same place, same role. I'll put Aubameyang 8th position.
Yeah, I'm very happy with Aubameyang at 8. Like I said, phenomenal striker. He's got pace, finishing, left foot, right foot, head. A very hard guy to contain, and the reason he's not higher is because just because of the way he came in at the tail end of this decade. So if he came in, say 2013, 2014, and replicated his form, he's easily top 5.
Amazing, yeah, yeah. Lewis, are we gonna walk you to the plank, and
yeah.
so you agree with Aubameyang at 8?
I think I've been walking to the plank. It has to be number 8. Aubameyang, number 8.
Abama who? Abama what? Abama black lion!
All right, so number 7. So I'm gonna put Vardy at 7. Um, and the reason why I'm putting Vardy at 7, don't get me wrong, phenomenal striker. With Vardy's body type, he's a framey, skinny body, able to run. The fact that he's 33 years old is amazing, and the fact that he's scoring so many, quite consistent goals, 6 seasons in the Premier League, and I think he's roughly getting 16 goals per season. He's won a Premier League. Um, it's just amazing. And I at 33, I still feel he's got another 3 years left easily in the Premier League, and even if he has to change up his game where his speed decreases, I can still see him finishing, being late in the box, being that fox in the box, and finishing for Leicester. So just to go back to his stats, he's 202 appearances for the Premier League and 99 goals. So that's what close to a goal every 2 games, and I think he's a phenomenal player, and it's a shame we didn't get to see enough of him at England. But and he received the Player of the Year award that season. So he's a fantastic, quality player.
Yeah, so at number 7, I picked number Drogba. So I actually put Vardy at number 6. So I really understand like Naz's points, but I felt like Drogba, he's done it like he was only here for 3 seasons, so like 2009 2012, and he scored 63 goals and like the Champions League winner when he dominated that Bayern Munich, where he single-handedly won like Chelsea the Champions League and the Premier League title as well. And I felt like this had a lot of merit, so he had a lot of individual achievements during his 3 years in the Premier League, and I felt that it wasn't quite as high as like Vardy's achievements, so he was ranked at slightly above, so like 7. And that's mainly the main argument for Drogba to be.
So my number 7 is Romelu Lukaku, the man with the famous touch that will send you down the M1. So for all his jokes about his first touch and how he got jacked in training because every time he missed, he'd do push-ups. So he was always doing push-ups. He does have a good goal scoring record. To throw out some numbers there, so in total, from about his West Brom time to Manchester United, we're looking at about 96 goals in about 200 appearances. So this kid was still a youngster. I say this kid, he's 26 now. So when he last played in the Premier League, 25. So we're looking at 5 seasons, perhaps 2012, 6 seasons. So first on maybe 1920. So to start from such a young age and go on to accumulate so many goals, and he's still only 25. Still only 26. So to get 96 goals by the time you're 26, I think that's quite a good achievement. But where he falls below Vardy is that one, Vardy has that Premier League title winners, that amazing Leicester campaign, and didn't Vardy also set the record for the most consecutive games scored in that title winning season? I think it was 11 games, either 10 or 11 games on the trot. And then still Vardy, he's still killing it in the Premier League. He had a great start to this season. From the start of about 2012, Leicester got promoted in 2014, so we're looking at about 100-ish goals here, something like that. Premier League title winners. He was on course, maybe still is going to be a top scorer this season. I know he falls out of the decade bracket, but still a phenomenal talent. And he's 33, so he wasn't opposite to Romelu Lukaku. He wasn't a youngster when he started. He was 26, 27, something like that. On the if you want to imagine like the other side of his peak, so you'd imagine that he'd passed it, but clearly not. 24 goals in the Premier League title winning season for Leicester. Another 20 goal season. He's on course for another 20 goal season here. So yeah, phenomenal talent.
As long as the coronavirus allows everything to continue. So in all our lists, we've agreed Vardy. So just to recap, I've put Vardy in 7th position? Okay, and Rahat, you've put him at 6. Okay, I'm happy for Vardy to go in. So essentially, it's a discussion between Lukaku and Drogba.
For number 7.
Yes, number 7 are fine. One of the things I will point out to you guys, so I'm looking at the Premier League stats window, and I didn't know this, but Lukaku and Drogba's basically played the same amount of games. So Drogba's appearances is 254, Lukaku's is 252. So Drogba played 2 more games than Lukaku, but Drogba's got 104 goals, whereas Lukaku has got 113, 9 goals. So Lukaku, you could argue he's got 9 more goals. But Drogba, yeah, fine, 9 more goals. But when you look at his record, I know it. You shouldn't look at this, but it's something I think about when looking at a complete striker and how he helps the team overall. Because it's great that, the striker's great. He's scoring goals, but there's sometimes more elements to a striker's game, which I will elaborate on in further when another player comes up in our top 5 list. But one of the things is, so Drogba, when you're under Drogba's leadership, this is my Chelsea hat on. This is me talking passionately about Drogba. Yeah, I'm gonna get in my zone right now, and hope you guys get some popcorn ready for this bit. This is from the heart, right? I'm gonna tell you this now. He's my favorite Chelsea player of all time. All time. I'm gonna argue this case. In 2008, when we lost in Moscow, I broke my heart was broken. We lost on penalties, and had Drogba taken that 5th penalty instead of bloody Terry, we would have won that Champions League, and we would have had at least 2. And I'm not going to talk about the time when Liverpool robbed us of that ghost goal with Luis Garcia. But anyway, that's another topic. That's another topic. That's another topic. Anyway, that's my bitterness coming out, my sourness. All right. So the difference? What they've had a two. So sorry, going back to my story on Drogba. He's like that player that he does something out the box. He does something so magical. Like you don't expect it, and he'll just do it. Some of the times you've needed Drogba. In the dressing room as well. He gives you that leadership. Like if any team like was down, or Drogba will do it. And it's not always about like how many got like a goal stat like Harry Kane. He scored like all these goals. Like it doesn't mean anything if he's not going to win anything with Tottenham. Like yeah, great. This is my opinion. Great, you're going to win a golden boot, but you don't look at your future. Like you never look back. I'm pretty sure footballers don't look back and say, "Yeah, it was great. I won. I was the top goal scorer of Champions League, but I never won it." Like or even Harry Kane. Yeah, it's great. I'm the top golden boot winner at World Cup, but I didn't win it. Like you would rather win the competition than just individual awards. Yeah, because those are the things you
Some
check.
strikers are greedy.
True. But with what I feel with Drogba is like he's that ultimate team player. Like that Munich. I know we're talking about Premier League, and this is me digressing and going off topic, but that Munich game, like we were like, man, we were like a battered fish. You know, we were in the shit. We were like corona. We were like our um, bins outside our houses, full of shit. We'd had nothing, and then out of nothing, Drogba scores a header, and like everyone's like, "What?" I mean, the amount, you know what I mean? And then the fact that he gave away a penalty and Robin missed it. I know Robin was doing it for us so he could win it next year, where we would go in the shits. But the fact that Drogba is such a big time player, scores in like majority of his finals, loves scoring against Arsenal. This guy is an animal. I mean, he's won a Golden Boot this decade, and I think me and Rahat before this had a discussion about were the majority of his goals scored in 2009, or were they scored in 2010? But he's won a Golden Boot in this decade and 2 Premier Leagues this decade. I mean, he's a much better player than Lukaku, because Lukaku was the player to replace Drogba, but he wasn't good enough at Chelsea, and for me, he wasn't good enough at United. Like he got cussed out. Lukaku got called Timberland boots. His first touch is so crap. Everyone at United hated him, and I just feel like Lukaku, he's not a big time player. That's the issue. What I see with Lukaku, like if it comes to crunch time where it's that Super Sunday, and you needed a striker, you're going to put Drogba on 9 times out of 10 than Lukaku. That's my opinion. Sorry, I've been ranting. You guys go ahead. Sorry, I've been getting emotional about this. But Drogba has to go in. But go on, guys. What do you want to say?
Yes, I get what you mean about Lukaku being. He was almost viewed as Drogba's replacement, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was sent out on loan to go get some experience. While Drogba petered out, and then he'd come back in, the finished product. But he never really got his chance at Chelsea. The main reason why I put Lukaku here is that he's got a good goal scoring rate for someone who was young at the time. Scoring 17, 15 goals on loan at West Brom and Everton, and then when he fully joined Everton, his last season there, 25 goals a season. That's a really good tally to build up. But I mean, after that heartfelt speech, how can I not put Drogba there?
Do you agree, Lewis? Because you've already.
Yeah, sorry, but I was eating the popcorn. I was eating popcorn.
Oh right, you were getting into it. Your feels, Drake feels, and all of that.
I was into the feels of a Chelsea fan and talking about his favourite player. Just sitting down watching popcorn. But like I said, like also my Drogba, and I picked him 7 as well. And I couldn't explain it better than Naz.
Good delivery here. Mata into what Drogba! What about that?
Our position 6 to 10. So we have Vardy at number 6, Drogba at number 7. It's Aubameyang at number 8, Costa at number 9, and Giroud at number 10. So going into the positions 1 to 5, and in no particular order, we have Aguero, Rooney, Kane, Suarez, and Robin van Persie. Rahat, do you want to start off by saying your top 5 list and in what order?
So my number 5, I have the I forgot his nickname, the dude who bites people, Luis Suarez. Number 4, I have the man who sold his soul for Premier League title, Robin van Persie. Number 3, I have Wayne Rooney. Number 2, Harry Kane, and number 1, Aguero.
And yourself, Lewis.
Yeah, same. I got Suarez at number 5, Harry Kane at number 4, Superman, Robin van Persie number 3, Wayne Rooney number 2, and then Aguero at number 1.
Oh, geez, that was worse.
Oh,
Oh, gosh.
tried my best, man.
Oh, gosh. I think the audience have turned the podcast off because of that. Anyway,
Right about now, I want Naz to insert a clip of the actual Aguero, so you should hear it right now.
let's discuss with position number 5, just to recap the audience. So I've said Robin van Persie at number 5. Okay. So for me, I'm just going to discuss why I've given Robin van Persie the 5th position, but I want to talk about some good attributes for him. So he's had 280 appearances, 144 goals. I think he's probably the best left foot. Has the best left foot of any Premier League striker this decade, arguably. 2 Golden Boots, 2011 and 2012 season at Arsenal, and then the 2012-2013 season at United, where he's won the one Premier League. And in the season where he won the Golden Boot, Arsenal didn't finish 4th; they actually finished 3rd. So Arsenal fans, I'm supporting you here a little bit. But the issue I found why I couldn't put him higher is he's been in the Premier League for close to a decade, and look, injuries, we can't do anything about it, but that's why I've not put him as higher, because there's certain seasons where he's only played a handful of games, and I just feel it's not fair on other players who are a lot more clinical. And so, yeah, I think Van Persie in that position, great player. But yeah, that's going to be my 5th position.
So my 5th position, I put down to Luis Suarez, and the reason why is, if you look at it, he really only did have 2 good seasons. One was a kind of mild. No, it is a good season. 23 goals in his second last season, 2012-13, and then 2013-14, the year he kind of just took off in the SAS partnership. 31 goals in 33 appearances, Golden Boot. Sadly, no title, but we'll skip over that. The reason I have Suarez underneath Robin van Persie, just because Suarez didn't play that long. He played 3.5 seasons in total, 69 goals, over 110 appearances. He broke like a few goal scoring records for Liverpool in like first to 50, stuff like that, and most goals scored in 100 appearances in the Premier League. But just because it's only 2 good seasons versus Robin van Persie's, I don't know how many good seasons this guy's had.
Maybe, but the thing is, maybe 3, 4. I don't know, because there's only his Arsenal season in 2010, 2011, where he's got 18 goals, and then
appearances.
yeah, exactly, 25 appearances, and in the following season, 2011, 2012, where he's got 30. He played the whole season basically and 30 goals.
Yeah.
That's
40 goals. He was just unleashing himself on the league. Like, Arsenal counted on him so much. Like, he was just scoring left, right.
yeah,
And they still couldn't. What did they get? 3rd, did you say? For that
yeah,
season?
yeah.
The thing is, though, Robin van Persie has that all-important Premier League title, and in the season where he won the Premier League title with Manchester United, he won the Golden Boot there, didn't he? So
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot. I mean, a Golden Boot in the season you win the title.
Yeah, your team was
That's
relying on you. Yeah.
yeah, that's big man team, you know. And he scored the goal that secured the title as well. I think it was that volley against Aston Villa. And he's like like I said, one of the best left foots in the Premier League, possibly the best left foot in that decade. Hammer of it, just unleashed it wherever he want. Because he has a few more goals over a few more seasons, plus that Premier League title. That's why he's above Suarez for me.
And Lewis, for you?
To add to that, so like Kobe once said, it's all about trophies. Like he loved trophies, and it's like none of this. So it's a team game, but then Robin van Persie won a Premier League trophy. He had 2 golden boots, but Suarez hasn't got the Premier League trophy. So that's why ultimately I put Suarez at number 5, and then I put RVP a little bit higher than him. So ultimately it's down to trophies, and unfortunately it wasn't Suarez's time for the Premier League. But he's a really good player still. With the 2013-2014 Player of the Season, he's got loads of goals to Liverpool, 69 League Cups, and then the transfer to Barcelona. So I'm still really
mean,
sad
Van Persie,
about. I'm still really
I
sad.
just want to put it in quickly. Van Persie never bit anyone as well. That we know of.
That we know of so far. Yeah. I mean, I think we should discuss a bit about Suarez because we shouldn't just brush him off like that. And obviously, you as Liverpool fans must love him to an extent because he was a phenomenal player. Troops has that saying, isn't it? Like Black Suarez. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a phrase because of Suarez. Like, that's how good he is. Like, Mane had to become Black Suarez. You know what I mean? Like, no, I was just gonna say. The fact that he raped Norwich every time, like I've never seen like I mean I don't think a porn video is worse than what he did to Norwich, every time as well, like a hat trick, like it's just mad. And he's one of my if I
But then Robin van Persie did that to the league. Premier League, Golden Boot in your Premier League title winning season. First season for Manchester United. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a popular move to go to Manchester
you can see
United,
why.
but this is what you do for the title, isn't it? He went to the title, and it's not like he wasn't performing at Arsenal. It's not like he went to Manchester United and did nothing in the group project, but he won the Golden Boot. He's a very influential player. He petered off a little bit in his last couple of seasons, so that is a little bit to his detriment. But just the sheer amount of goals and the fact that he's done it for longer than Luis Suarez, who 2 good seasons and then left for Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, just to end off, he did win the Suarez did win the Golden Boot in 2013-14 season.
Trying to get his head on net. Lewis Suarez
But yeah,
with the
phenomenal
finish.
player, and I'm more
He
than
just
happy
won't
to,
leave Norwich
put him
City
into fifth.
alone.
And Robin van Persie moves up to 4. And so let's go to the final 3. Let's just recap on our to recap the audience. Lewis, who did you put in the final 3?
So final
In
3.
which order?
So number 1 I got Aguero. Second one Rooney, and then third is Kane.
And Rahat?
For me, I've got the slightly flipped. Number 3, I've got Wayne Rooney. Number 2, Harry Kane. Number 1, Sergio Aguero.
So I've been thinking about this question a lot, and I think so. I've this is my sort of final selection. It's Kane in number 3, Rooney number 2, and I guess we've all agreed Aguero number 1. We'll come on to Aguero, but the debate is between Kane and Wayne Rooney. So Lewis, do you want to kick off why you feel why Rooney is ahead of Kane?
So definitely, I think the 2 league titles doesn't support Kane. Like Rooney's got 2 league titles. During that time, he's still got 122 goals. He's got the Europa League. He's got the 2012-2013 Player of the Season. And even though Kane has got 2 golden boots, he really hasn't got the Premier League title. And that's what I felt was the difference between Kane and Rooney. Like, if Kane had one league title, that would be a little bit different. But Rooney's got two, and then two league titles. That's 60 games over 2 seasons. That's incredible endurance over long periods of time. And I felt like Kane maybe hasn't got the right players around him, or he needs more players to support him. But I felt like with Rooney's two league titles, the Europa League title, 122 goals, I felt Rooney was slightly higher up than Kane for this time around. But it could change in the near future, but I never know.
Yeah, Rahat, why did you put Kane ahead of Rooney?
Yeah, so if I just talk about Rooney a little bit first, so we're
Yeah.
looking at is it 125 goals over the course of this decade, starting off at Manchester United, ending up at boyhood club Everton, and so with Wayne Rooney, he had a strong start of the decade. 27 goals in the 2011-2012 season. But apart from that, this decade, he's been lingering between 15 to 19 goals. That 27 goal season was the only time he broke 20 goals in this decade. He's still a phenomenal player. Still racked up the assists. Still racked up the appearances. I think he's Manchester United top goal scorer, and I think he's also England's top goal scorer.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you're
it.
looking at
Yeah.
careers,
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney has that edge, especially in terms of titles. He's won, a buttload of titles with Manchester United and other trophies and cups. But we're talking about, who's the best striker here. And when you want to talk about striker, you look at Harry Kane. He had 10 appearances in 2013-14, so kind of discount that one. But coming in 2014-15, that season was when he really started becoming the main man for Tottenham. So from 2014-15 to 2020, 5 years, 5 seasons, 136 goals in 198 games. That's an astounding goal to game ratio. For someone who, a lot of his career was out on loan to clubs like Leyton Orient, Millwall. He spent a little bit of time at Leicester City as well. But his first full season with Tottenham, 21 goals. Season after, 25. Season after, 29, 30. He had a couple of injuries last season, which restricted him to even then 17 goals. He had even more injuries this season, but in 20 appearances, he got 11 goals. That's a goal every other game. You got to give it to him, and multiple golden boot stage collection as well. The amount of goals he scored per game, and it hasn't even been for the whole decade. It's only been for like half the decade. But there's only one time in a full season that he didn't reach 20 goals for that season. 136 goals in 198 games. Rooney is a phenomenal player, but we're looking at this decade and who's the best striker, not who's the best club. So that's why I feel Kane. That's why I feel Kane is above Rooney. So 136 goals in 198 games. Yeah, Rooney scored 125. Yeah, Rooney scored. Rooney is the highest scorer from Manchester United. But looking at this decade, 2 golden boots to his name. I just gotta give this one to Harry Kane.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'm gonna try and give an unbiased opinion and give what I think. Because so I've put Rooney in number 2, but I'm gonna discuss why I've given first Rooney that position and what I think Kane's got ahead of him. So for me, the reason why I've put Rooney in the second position is because of the formate. So right now we look at the different types of strikers. It isn't just that traditional number 9, and what Rooney does is similar to what for me in Firmino's game, Roberto Firmino at Liverpool. The fact that he drops deeper, the fact that he's been a less greedy player but played for the team, played in a sort of cam role for Van Persie to become the Golden Boot winner, to assist him in any way he can to become a better player. I feel with Rooney, he's transformed his game from being like just a forward, but the fact that he's provided support. I had other strikers, shows Rooney at number 2. But now, when I come back to Harry Kane's comparison and how he's done it, we think, okay, Alan Shearer is what? One of the greatest strikers in the Premier League. If we ever did something like that, Alan Shearer is, right?
Yep.
And a lot of his goals were scored at Newcastle where they didn't win a league.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that I see with Harry Kane's, the Harry Kane debate as well. The fact that he scored so many goals, at a weaker team, but they do provide for him, number one. I think he's a phenomenal player. The fact that he's won 2 Golden Boots, 2015, 2016, and 2016, 2017, as you guys mentioned. And again, his like shooting accuracy is crazy. Something I was reading about it, and it was, 45%. Like half the shots you take, you score, which is like crazy to have these type of stats. And yes, I don't think we should burden Harry Kane as because of Tottenham. Because let's be honest, if he was in a Man City team, if he was in, let's say, Liverpool's team, um, would he have won a league by now? For sure. And you can't blame that on Harry Kane. You have to blame his teammates. Because if we're looking at Premier League glory and all of that, yeah, that's great. But that's a team effort as well. It's not like Rooney winning it on his own, like Federer wins a Wimbledon. It's a team sport, and if Kane teammates like make a mistake, it's not his fault. You know, he's a phenomenal striker, and I don't think we should put that against him, the Premier League, because again, that's a 38 game season. But there is one criticism, and I think he's a really great striker, but I just feel, with the emergence of changing position and the fact that Kane isn't a very strong presser, and in today's game, the striker needs to be a very, really strong presser of the game.
Just chipping in here, he's still 26, so it's not like he's collecting his OAP checks here. He's still got a long way to go before he needs to undergo that. It's almost like a rehabilitation when a footballer learns to play a different role. The way you see Ronaldo adapt his game, the way you see Messi, where you see there was an article recently about Paul Scholes dropping deeper. He's still got a long way to go before he needs to undergo that rehabilitation phase of becoming a different type of player than where he was. So even in the season he didn't win the Golden Boot, he still scored 30 goals. The only reason he didn't win was because there was a guy called Mo Salah scoring 32. For me, like, Rooney is a great player and he's accomplished a lot, but he's accomplished a lot with the team rather than himself. Even then, even himself has been great. I mean, that's why he's number 3. He scored 125 goals in this decade, but Kane scored more this decade,
Yeah. Can I add? Also, you look at finals as well. So Arsenal fans are gonna love me for talking about the Champions League final that happened in last season. They're gonna ask where was Kane? But Rooney, like you saw him like in Europa League final, he stepped up and then they eventually won the Europa League final.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we look at outside competition, you could say arguably Rooney, but I just feel, I'm considering changing my opinion actually to Kane, because I feel like Rooney's tailored off and he's become more of a team player, whereas Kane's that, the closest, I guess a closest thing to a Aguero in the sense that he's a ruthless striker. He's got a better goal ratio, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Than Aguero's, is that correct?
Aguero's is about 0.68 goals a game, and Kane's is a little bit higher. Over the career, you definitely say Rooney has a better career and is a better player. But for this decade, especially for Kane to only come in for 5 seasons, whereas Rooney been in from 2010 up till 2018, so he's had 8 seasons. So in a shorter amount of time, Kane has scored more goals. And a lot less appearances as well.
In this decade, was he better than Kane? And I don't know. I'm starting to think Not really, because when you think about it, maybe Chicharito won it for United in the 2010, 2011, and then RVP in 2012, 2013. You know, so
Just to add that, sorry, just to add the cherry on the cake here. So if you look at Wayne Rooney's entire Manchester United career, he's got 393 appearances and 183 goals. It's crazy. It's crazy good. Harry Kane and his Tottenham Hotspur career, 198 goals, 136. Sorry, 198 games, 136 goals. So he's about 50 goals off on 200 games less than just his Manchester United. You know.
I mean, Lewis, is there any argument you can say last bit before I make the decision why who's ahead of who, why Rooney should be ahead of Kane?
I think I'm getting slightly changed as well. Like if you look at individual stats alone, there's only one winner, which would be Harry Kane. So yeah,
Wow, so we've all Rahad's converted us to Kaneism. So yeah, Kane is in number 2. Let's go to the final and the winner, and I'm gonna insert the famous commentary of Aguero.
Here, Balotelli, Aguero!
Aguero in our first position. I just want to add my sort of take onto things before you guys can say your parts as well. So I think Aguero for me is one of the all-time Premier League best strikers. He's won 4 Premier Leagues since he joined in 2011. Um, you know, he's 28 goals behind Rooney, and easily can achieve that and get to even the second all-time Premier League goal scorer. And there's so many phenomenal moments. Some of his goals are just magic. The audience, if you guys have PlayStation and you press R2 and then you press circle on the PlayStation 4 and then you do that perfect finesse shot, you time it enough. Oh, it's that orgasmic finish, and that's what Aguero has in his game. Like he's, I feel like the complete striker. Like the fact that he's which is a few things that surprised me is he's only won the Golden Boot once, which is 2014, 2015. And he's won more Player of the Months 7 times than Harry Kane's won it 6. But yeah, phenomenal player. Do you guys want to talk about his appearances, stats, and what you think about this fantastic player?
Yeah, we're all just gonna wax lyrical about Sergio Aguero here. About a load of Premier League titles. He's got a nice number of Premier League Player of the Month. He's been elected into the the PFA Team of the Year twice. Even though he'd only got 1 Golden Boot in 2014-15, he followed that up with 4 straight seasons of 20 plus goal seasons, 180 goals entirely in the Premier League, of 261 appearances. Just as it all, he's now Manchester City's all-time top scorer. He's got that Aguero moment. He's scored so many other fantastic goals as well. He scored a few against Liverpool as well. Is there a team he hasn't scored against? Just a absolutely phenomenal striker. And even now, even with all of Manchester City's talent and all their spending, you find that games still come down to Sergio Aguero. Like no matter how much they spend, no matter who they get, it still comes down to Sergio Aguero to do some crazy madness, and that's the influence that Aguero has on this team. Started his debut against City with a 2-0 win. 2 goals in a 4-0 win over Swansea City, and just hasn't looked back since.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, alliterate, the 254 goals he's scored, the Premier League for the 4 Premier League titles he's won, and then I think in that moment you have to think about the huge amount of trophies he's won during his time in the Premier League, and also an honourable mention to Mario Balotelli, that infamous assist. He only had 1 assist that season, and then the most important one in his whole career. Yeah. So
There is one criticism, but that's not on him. But there is injury record isn't the greatest. So had he had the had him been injured as many times, maybe he could have had stats like Messi or Ronaldo. Do you guys echo that, or
Yeah, he's
his injury?
he's had a bit of a bad luck with injuries over the course of his Manchester City career. Picked up a few here and there, but even then, that hasn't stopped him. You know.
Of course.
yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Lewis, do you want to add anything?
No, but I feel Ronaldo and Messi are a whole different. I think most people might think I'm wrong, but I think Messi and Ronaldo are a whole different level to most other players. So
And if you guys want to listen to that debate, click on episode 1, link in description. Now, just to repeat the players in order. So, starting from 10 to position 1, we have Giroud at number 10. At number 9, we have Diego Costa. At number 8, we have Aubameyang. At number 7, we have Didier Drogba. At number 6, we have Vardy. Number 5, we have Suarez. Number 4, we have Robin Van Persie. Number 2, we have number 3. Yeah, number 3 we have Wayne Rooney. Number 2 we have Kane, and number 1, Aguero. Thank you for
That was the
listening.
worst one yet.
Yeah, I know. So thank you all for listening to our podcast. Like, comment, and share the podcast. I think the
Also
first
subscribe.
one. Yes, and of course, subscribe. Thank you. We're close. I think we've got close to 100 viewers on our first podcast, and we hope to do the same on this one. So please, guys, share as much as you can and spread the message of who we are. And yeah, do you guys want to say anything else? End it off.
Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to let us know, if you want to give us any comments, any feedback, anything like that, we're open ears.
And
yeah,
Lewis, you so?
yeah, I'll second that as well. Like when difficult times at home with the coronavirus, just everyone's just trying their best and stay at home, and we're supporting the NHS.